So if you're here, you probably already know the story. Blink-182 is back. The classic seminal lineup of Mark Hoppus, Tom DeLonge and Travis Barker buried the hatchet after a mix of near fatal illnesses and accidents put things into perspective for them. The reunion was announced last year alongside a world tour and a single, and almost a year later the album One More Time has arrived. To be upfront, I'm not overly keen on it, but that isn't shocking to me. Pop punk overall isn't really my jam. I'm always open to it, but it has to be exceptional a la Blink in their heyday to really enjoy it for me. If you are a lover of pop punk and or a Blink super fan, you're probably gonna watch this and scoff at my opinion because you already love this record, and I think that's awesome. There's literally nothing better than when your band put out something new, not least when it's come after a long wait or a turbulent breakup. For what it's worth though, here are my thoughts. So I don't hate the record. There's some stuff that's okay, and we will get to that. In fact, I'm going to use the classic shit sandwich method, where you bury the negative between a couple more palatable points, except I do have more negatives than positives. So we're going to go the other way around, a couple of compliments surrounded by shit talking. So more like a shitty burrito, I guess. But look, we're doing Blink, all right. If they're not too old for toilet humor, then I sure as shit am not. Look, my biggest disappointment here is just that the band have come back only to go for the easy win almost every time, both musically, emotionally and thematically. At a basic level, the hooks of the two main singles here literally either use the classic Ole 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 on Dance With Me or like a fucking nursery rhyme melody on Edging. Obviously they're catchy, but have you heard Baby Shark lately? If we're going to be going by being catchy, then that shit's a masterpiece. There is also a crazy amount of what I would call emotional manipulation at play on this record. I'm fully aware that ultimately is what it is to be affected by art. Sounds, visuals and words are being deployed creatively by an artist to manipulate your emotions. But what I mean when I say emotional manipulation in this context is kind of like the way a Hallmark movie or like a Channel 5 made for TV movie, if you're in the UK like me, does it. It's a story that offers absolutely nothing of substance, but it chucks in like a dog dying or an old couple holding hands as one of them passes away, and sure enough, boom, you're crying. On One More Time, Blink are out here calling songs Anthem Part 3, using the Adams song guitar tone and progression, and literally retelling the story of Hoppus's cancer battle and Barker's plane crash like you're reading a press release. I'm not saying it's not valid to be moved by these things, but from a band who are actually capable of pulling the rug from under the naysayers with actual depth and creativity on their emotional songs, like the OG Adams song or their mega hit I Miss You, Anthem Part 3, One More Time and You Don't Know What You've Got just seem cheap by comparison. And this recycling of old moments unfortunately bleeds into the songs that I might otherwise genuinely like as well. Terrified's intro and post-chorus riff sounds great, with the chorus itself being decent and even providing an interesting experimental kind of bridge, but they squander this by having the bulk of the song be like a Wish version of their 2003 track Down. But okay, Terrified seems like a moment to talk about some of the tracks I more or less enjoy. Shitty Burrito, remember, this is the Pleasant Center? Fuck, this is a gross analogy. Anyway, as much as I just slagged it, Dance With Me, fucking Chorus for Dummies hook though it may have, can fall on the right side of dumb fun when it catches me in the right moment. I just think having Edging a few songs later does this song a disservice. Maybe it's just a thing, like you can have one basic bitch nursery rhyme song is passable, but there's a cut off and one song seems to be it. When Edging turns up a few songs later, it just pisses on the goodwill that I've extended to Dance With Me. Anyway, When We Were Young does the upbeat but melancholy Blink thing really well, in a way that I think it feels like enough of its own thing, as does Bad News and Other Side as well, which I really liked. We also have the band going fully into like new wave pop territory on Blink Wave and Childhood, which I don't hate. I think it sounds pretty good and actually suits this production style, which fucking butchers almost every other song here. You know, modern pop punk as a collective genre seem to have welcomed auto-tune with open arms, and in some respects that's refreshing compared to other artists in the wider field of rock that 100% use it but kind of pretend that they don't, like the equivalent of Hollywood stars and steroids. However, on One More Time, auto-tune is unbelievably cranked, giving this gross process sound to almost every song. Then we have the drums. Now, I went to see Blink at the O2 in London recently, and I was excited. I mean, you might not believe it based on this review, but I do like the band a lot, and their hits are untouchable to me. But when I was there, and maybe it was just because of where I was standing, all I could hear, aside from the vocals, were Travis Barker's drums. Now, impressive, nay, god tier he may be on the Skins, there is such a thing as too much. It hits right around the time you start losing the ability to hear the other instruments. So a few days later, when I chucked this record on and I was like, wow, it's exactly the same thing on these new songs. It's so conspicuous that you could almost imagine it being a record label decision. Like, Travis is now the most famous, so he needs to be as loud as possible to cater for any potential overspill into the Kardashian fan base. I know that's not it. More likely, that someone let the fucking drummer produce the album. What do you expect? The thing is, it's not just the volume. There are definitely moments where I think Barker is doing too much, more than usual. The beat in the verse of More Than You Know, for instance, is creative but jarring as hell. My final note on this is that in some tracks the drums also sound quantized, which basically means artificially edited to be exactly in time. And of course here, you know, they would be doing this as a stylistic choice because Barker doesn't need to be edited, but there are certain points where his natural groove is missing, and coupled with the awful digital process vocals, things just come off sounding like a teenage AI's dream of a Blink-182 reunion. Although juvenile and kind of cringe for 50-year-olds, I'm thankful for the sub 1 minute super fast retro Blink tracks like Turn This Off and Fuckface, because they actually sound like they were recorded in a room. How novel. Oh man, that was 100% a boomer statement there. But anyway, as I said up top, I think if you're a pop punk fiend or if you are just a Blink fanatic, nothing I say will turn you off this record, but for me, some low effort writing and vapid production ruin what good there is here. It's a 4 out of 10 for me.